Good afternoon. Beautiful sunny day out there. I'm just back here with this is stage 2 of the apples and the sort of hybrid cloth Mokulito print. I'm just trying to run you through sort of the process I'm going through off camera, as it were, so that it doesn't just, when I come to inking, I'm not just turning up with all these sort of Blue Peter style magically made before plates, just so you get a brief overview. So this is going to be quite a short film, just showing you what I've done whilst these plates have been etching. So as I said in my previous, the first one, they've had their gum Arabic, they've been sitting under there now for 2 days. What I've done is I've used a little fret saw or hacksaw, piece of just standard household sandpaper, and I've cut out the large wooden Mokulito plate into all its little components. So they're all a bit like a jigsaw. So you can kind of see where that's going. You've got different elements. It's just been cut out, jigsaw style, using the little saw, which is obviously, if you look into this, it's very useful because you can rotate the blade. And so you don't have to just cut straight, you can cut with the blade at 90 degrees, it curves. So it allows you to go around organic shapes in the middle of a piece of wood. Now, this is where the artistic license comes in as to how much of a border you want around each shape, because obviously the grain of the Mokulito will print. So that's again something to think about. They're all lined up. I then sanded off any rough splinters and chamfered the top edge slightly. 2 main reasons. Splinters will gather in your ink, and you obviously don't want that when you're rolling up any surface in printmaking. Also, a chamfer on the top surface, which is your rolling surface, to prevent the coarse edge of the wood damaging the surface of your roller. It's just a light chamfer. Again, you don't need to, haven't removed any gum Arabic or anything. This is all done with the gum bone dry sitting on top. They're nice and protected. This is just printing and preparation. So they're all done. So I'm just going to move those up. They're looking rather fun, and you can begin to see where this is going. This one I'm going to do now. You can see it's stiff with the gum. It's still got gum in it. I'm literally just taking a pair of haberdashery scissors. And it's very easy to cut with the gum. It kind of makes it go quite stiff. And I'm just going to be cutting out the shapes. Again, think about what border you want, because especially with the cloth litho, as we found, the background to the cloth will print. So think about how much you want that in your print. So this one I'm going to give a slightly wider border. It is really... Whoop, got an apple there. You know, there's nothing particularly fancy at this stage. Just making a series of shapes, and in my case, the apple.
I do like apples.
I've got that's our daughter, and she, if you probably just heard, she does like apples. We have picked rather a lot, haven't we? Mm-hmm. A lot. What do we make with them?
Apple sweets.
Apple rings. And all these apples going around this time of the year, we tend to dry out on sunny days or above our fires on the glass house on a hot day to make apple rings. Now this is the big pattern sort of fabric tablecloth, or just picnic cloth, or some kind of cloth which I wanted to integrate to show you how we can actually utilise the layering quality of fabric itself. Some of those are out of the way. Now it's a bit tricky with the gum, but you can begin to pull apart the edge of the fabric, which is what I'm wanting to do on this one in particular. And I don't mind that's just torn. That doesn't bother me on this piece because it's not a precise shape. I'm just trying to gather. If you can see there, I've got a few of the cloth marks, and it's nice to actually know that it's cloth and it's not wood, it's not an etching plate. This is most definitely marks on cloth. So I'm just scuffing this up a bit. You can also do this stage when it's wet and inked up. Obviously when it's wet, previous to being inked, it's quite sensitive, so you don't really want to be putting your greasy fingers all over it. And when it's inked up, you're getting black ink everywhere. So if you can, kind of do this sort of stage when it's got the gum on and is nice and stable and safe. Just looking, I don't think I actually want to scuff up any of the others. I might do that leaf, just a little bit.
Why do you scuff it up?
Well, it's because it's fabric and it's not any other type of printing plate, wood, metal, stone, lino. It has a very specific quality, and I couldn't do this to a piece of lino, so it's nice to actually see the edge of the fabric, and it gives it a nice texture. It also gives it a sense of weight, a sense of objectness on the paper, and I quite like the sense that it's got a life.
I like it too.
And also, don't forget, you don't have to use brand new. I mean, this isn't brand new, this is an old pillowcase. But if you've got some fabric that has a bit of character to it, you know, it's been a bit battered, there's some holes in it, that could be really nice, and you're working with something that has a bit of life. And what you can do, which I'm not going to, I might do, I don't think though I am, obviously because this is cloth, you can stitch the pieces together. You could go under a sewing machine, just get the setting right on the needle and be aware you've got gum arabic on the surface of the fabric, so you might need to give your needle a clean afterwards. But I've done it, and I have, well, I compare it to a sewing machine. Ours is a hand-turned Singer, a wonderful, wonderful machine. So it's slightly different to a modern electric machine, but it doesn't have a problem going through the gum, and actually it sews it really nicely. So you can sew it with thread or without thread. Obviously without thread you get little holes. With the thread you can start, I could for instance, and I might well do, sew those two together as one piece showing the stitch lines. So when you ink it up you would end up with stitch lines. The only thing you have to be aware, if I was to sew that and I had a stitch line going down there and there, while I'm attaching the leaf to the apple, that provides a slightly raised surface. So when inking up lithographically, the roller will struggle to reach the very bottom of sort of the layers behind the raised stitch surface, because you're then dealing, the stitch in essence is a relief print, working with ink on the top surface of the stitch, but you're wanting a lithographic surface behind. So you're asking the roller to have to go up, down, up, down. So you'll usually end up with sort of a white halo where the ink hasn't got to right behind the stitch surface, which isn't a bad, you know, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a thing to be aware of. So what I might, it's quite nice actually, I might sew those two together.
Yes.
You think yes? Okay. So we're going to sew those two together apparently. So this is where you get to see they're all done. Get some space. Da, 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 da. Whoop. Sorry, that was me opening the door and knocking the camera. Hang on. Here we go. Singer. This is the beautiful sewing machine that I use for
a long, long time.
Well, I think it's about 80 years old.
Wow.
Beautiful, beautiful sewing machine. I make a lot of our children's clothes, and I used to do mine, but now it's easier to do children's ones because they use less fabrics, they're cheaper, and they're smaller. So if I try and turn that slightly towards the camera, then you can kind of see what's going on. So I'm not, you know, I can't release, if you know about sewing, and you do a lot of free-form sewing, you can release the gripper foot. I can't on this machine, so I have to follow a line. So I'm just going to go with that. And I'm just actually now going all the way around the leaf. I'm not bothering to knot it or anything like that. If you want to, you can, but we're not making clothes here. And look at that, at perfect timing, the bobbin has run out just as we joined the two together. I'll just move that out of the way.
Wow, perfect timing.
Perfect timing. It doesn't always happen like that. The bobbin usually runs out mid-stitch or something in the middle of a really important seam.
Yeah.
So I've just literally, you can see it on the touche, and I went round the leaf. So that will give you an example of what that will be like. And everything else now is pretty much ready to print. And the principle when I come to inking will be, I've got all these elements, all sort of, compiled together, and I'll be able to start overlaying them and overprinting them. It's going to be quite a long film. I'm going to try and split it, and we'll see how it goes. So that will be, hopefully, I'm going to film that, I think, on Thursday as a very long session. So that will be fun. Yes.
Our sister might wake up soon.
Yes, Rose might wake up soon, but that's fine.
That's
So
our other sister.
that is that. That's all the prep, and that's ready to print. So as I say, I shall film that on Thursday, and we shall see the results. Thank you for listening.